What's up? What's up? What's up?
How about them Miami Dolphins?
What's up, you guys? How's everyone doing tonight? Um, I don't know what just happened, but we're gonna try to make this through. If it doesn't work, I don't even know. I don't even know. You got to get off, just in
I'm
case
not
you're
on.
taking me.
I'm not on
You're not
nothing.
connected to
I'm
me.
not on nothing. Ain't nobody connected to you.
How many connected to me?
No, who not connected to you?
You're not connected. How's your Sunday been? Let us know how your Sunday has been. How has your Sunday been thus far? We literally got back in town today. We were in Albertsville with our oldest daughter. She had a softball tournament this weekend. So we stayed in Albertsville for the weekend. We came back enough time to check on a property that we haven't finished laying out some of the details for, but it's under renovation. So we tried to map out some. We didn't complete it. Um, and then we came back for our ex slipper coaching class today. Today is week two. Is week two? Yep. Today is week two. So came back, did that. To are progressing very quickly, and they have a property that's under contract and ready to move for financing. So that was really exciting. Just making sure they have everything they need. Um, pay for some things. Pay for some things today for a contractor. Can I do anything else we have? Walk the house. Tried to do a layout. Didn't like the layouts we were coming up with. I think that's it from a
That's
rehab
it.
perspective. Yeah. Now this week, our calendar is beyond jam packed, like beyond jam packed. But it's exciting. I'm excited about it. Um, y'all ready?
Let's
You're not
get
gonna
it.
make all that noise, right?
I'm not gonna make all that noise.
Mm-mm. Yeah, come on.
I'm gonna get a spoon. I'm gonna get a spoon. You hating on my drink,
I
bro?
am. Let me put you in the camera because right now you're not in the camera. Bam. Tell me.
I look sleepy.
Tell me. You were just trying to go to sleep. What did you tell me? You didn't tell me what you told me.
What part?
This gonna aggravate me though. Not that part. Take that because
What
that's
part?
next. That by this wind down time you be sleepy.
I don't know if I be like normally I ain't sleepy though, but like
Normally
at 10 o'clock, bro, we probably like we're
watching
probably
the
doing work
movie.
or watching the show. Like I think maybe it's like
That's usually
10.
it does. That's usually our time together. Like we can get the kids to sleep and then we can recap our day. We can talk about nothing but something, like if that makes sense. He can tell me the sweet
I can
nothings.
listen to
He
some
can
sweet
sweet
nothings.
nothings in my ear, and I fall for him like it's brand new again.
You stupid ass man.
Yeah, sweet nothings.
Man,
That's
I
what
don't
we
know.
call them.
I don't know about these 30 days.
You're almost done. You got like 10 days left. All right, let me look.
I don't know about these 30, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You're almost there. You're such a sucker, MC. All right, you started on the 29th of August. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, wait, I didn't count the weekends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
What she
4,
be
5,
20,
6, 7,
29 and
8,
30?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So you got 9 more days left.
Nobody.
That's easy. Easy peasy. Easy peasy.
I'm just saying. If I don't make it, I told you up front.
Oh my gosh. How has your day been, you guys? How has everything been going on your end? Y'all ready to talk?
Let's get it.
All right. So Sundays are real estate one-on-ones. This is where we talk about different ways that you can make money in real estate. Tonight we are going to talk about a way that a lot of people want to make money in real estate because they feel like it's the way that they can get in for the least amount of money to actually control an asset and make income off of it, cash flow off of it. Would you say that's correct?
I don't understand why you got your drink and I can't have my drink.
Because I don't stick it.
Well, you at least share your drink, man.
No, I'm not.
This is so unfair.
Did you agree with my intro? All right. So tonight we are going to talk about tax deed properties, um, tax certificates, just the whole tax buying. I'm sharing so you can act right because you're nothing but a crybaby. Just the whole tax buying process. Um, we have had our fair share. Would you say fair share with it? We It's a great way to buy houses to get in, but I will say you have to make sure you know what you're doing in that process.
I would say let's just break down the let's break down the tax certificate and tax deed word, I guess.
Okay, so a certificate is when you're paying the taxes of someone that is delinquent. And for Alabama, I think different states have different
We know different states
yeah,
have different.
different states have different laws when it comes to tax deeds and tax certificates. In Alabama, a tax certificate must be a tax certificate for 3 years before it's considered a tax deed. So it must be delinquent for 3 years and then paid to be a tax deed. You ready to say something?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Um, Tax certificates are when you pay the delinquent taxes. So if 123 Main Street taxes were not paid for 2021, you can pay the taxes on it and you have the tax certificate, but you don't have the tax deed. All right. You want to talk about a tax deed?
No, I want to say that the certificate gives you rights to the property, but it doesn't give you rights to possession of the property.
So you may own it on paper, but you can't walk up in the property.
Yes, I have seen some teachings to where some recent teachings to where they are teaching people to take possession with a certificate. I don't recommend that personally. Uh,
Very risky.
as a certificate, you always just want to make sure that you are paying the taxes and you're not necessarily creating any issues.
Agree. Um, with the tax deed, you have more rights to the property than you would with a certificate. With a tax deed, at that point, you can claim possession of the property, and then you'll have rights as far as possession. But you have to go through that process.
Yeah. So the thing about Alabama is it's got to be a tax certificate for 3 years. After those 3 years, it transferred to a tax deed, and after you have a tax deed for 3 years, you can get what's called a quiet title, and that will clear the liens on the property. One thing I will say is that you gotta have possession for 3 years. It's not just 3 years of it being a tax deed. You gotta kind of have that possession for 3 years, unless you bought it from somebody else who
Who had
already
that
had some possession.
possession? Yes.
So we bought a tax deed in Fountain Heights, and the dude we bought the tax deed from had the tax deed for 4 years. So all he had to do was quiet the title. So when we bought the tax deed, we quiet the title already for him, and basically, we're going to get a clear title to the property.
Yeah.
We got to check on that, by the way.
Yeah, when you as you were saying it, I'm like, I should be emailing them like right now.
Yeah. So, when you have a tax deed, you can file for ejectment. I always advise you to file for ejectment, even if the property is vacant. File for ejectment.
No, I didn't know I could do that.
Uh, File for ejectment, even if the property is vacant. Once you have possession of the property, you can do what's called preservation improvements to the property.
What are preservation improvements? You trying to be funny? What are preservation improvements?
Preservation improvements are things to preserve the property from going bad. So if the roof's leaking, patching the roof. If the windows are busted, either boarding up or replacing the windows. Uh, what's something else? If the paint is chipping,
Chipping.
scraping it and painting it. Anything to preserve the property.
If the if water's coming in through the window, replacing the window to keep the water from coming in.
Yes. So the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that you get reimbursed for preservation improvements. You don't get reimbursed for making it into a rent ready property.
Yes, so changing the countertops, um, that's not preserving the property. Tiling the floors, putting LVP, none of those things are preserving the property. They are making the property. They're enhancing the property, but they're not preserving the property.
Um, a recent ruling, and I should have some exact names for this stuff. I don't, but I would say go do some research. A recent ruling came out that preservation improvements, they're not giving you the dollar amount that you spent for the preservation improvement. They are giving you the added value to the property, um that
For enhancing, for preserving it, yeah.
for preserving it. So
Adding a roof.
if you redid the roof and it costs you $5,000 cash, when a person goes to redeem their property, they gotta pay for the value that was added to that. So that roof might increase the value of the house by $15,000 to $20,000. So when they redeem, they gotta pay that plus the back taxes.
Yes.
So that is a recent change to where a lot of investors might get back into tax deeds,
Mm-hmm.
um, because of the way it used to be. You could fix up a property and somebody can come redeem it, and you only get paid for the things that were considered preservation, and it's only that value. And sometimes you would lose money in those situations.
So a lot of investors will get mad about it because they weren't getting the value that they wanted out of it. So it's changed now. I can say before, in my opinion, it wasn't investor friendly.
Yes,
And it seems like now the laws, because there's been so many incidents, the laws are making it more investor friendly.
I totally agree.
Now, there are some states like Georgia where I think after a year as a tax certificate, it becomes a tax deed.
Hmm.
So things change as far as how long it takes for you to really make it an income producing property.
Yes. A couple, I ain't gonna say things to know about a tax deed is or a tax certificate. You can't get financing on those type of deals.
Facts.
And you can't get title insurance. So that's why you can't get financing. Anytime a lender lends you money, any type of hard money or institutional lender, they get what's called title insurance to make sure the title is clear. But in a tax deed, tax certificate situation,
You can't do
you
that.
can't do it because the title isn't clear. There are other people who still have legitimate rights to the property.
Hmm.
So you can't go borrow rehab money from a hard money lender or a private money lender for the funds.
So yeah, don't buy it with your cash and think that you're gonna refinance and pull some money out of it because you're not.
Not at all.
It's not gonna happen.
Now, if you quiet the title, which that process costs about $3,000 to $5,000. Usually takes about
6 months to a year,
4 to 6 months.
depending on the issues attached to it,
Yes.
how extensive it is.
So if you got a tax deed, I always say quiet the title. You plan on selling it. That way you can open it up to retail buyers as well, not just investors. Some investors buy tax deeds. If you're planning on keeping it as a rental long term, there is no need to really quiet the title in your situation because you plan on keeping it as a rental. We bought some tax deeds from
Estate
a
sale.
estate sale,
Hmm.
and we never quieted the title on them because we knew that they was rental properties.
Hmm.
We bought them as rental properties, so there was no need to take the next step and quiet the title because we didn't plan on selling them anytime soon.
Facts. That's a good point, Daniel.
Thank you. I got some in Blue Moon.
Goodbye. Um, we have had some tax properties where not enough knowledge. We didn't do great on them.
Yes.
We bought when I retired. When I went full time as an investor, we decided to use my severance package to buy some income producing properties. Is what we thought we were doing, and the best way to do it was to buy tax deed properties. So we decided to buy two properties, one in Inslee and one in Eastlake, and start getting those to be income producing. Well, one of them in Inslee, we probably produced some money for it for about 2 years.
We ain't lose no money.
We didn't lose the money, but it's not income producing anymore. Somehow, with no power being on, it caught on fire. And last I checked, the power didn't work, and all of a sudden it worked, I guess, and it caught on fire. And we found out because one of our old tenants was riding by, and it was burnt down. We didn't even know. Didn't even know. So that one was a flop. Well, I guess it was a semi flop
It was not a
because we
flop. We made. I think we paid
I know,
like
but I still don't have it. So I figured,
no, we paid like $3,000 to $4,000 for the house. We wasn't in it for no more than $6,000 or $7,000. We rented it for 2 3 years. We got our money back and some. It was no good long term investment,
yeah.
but we didn't lose no money in it.
And the purpose of it was to supplement my income from regions with some more rental properties, so that I we could do the business full time and not have to worry about our day to day expenses. So that was one. The second one we did, we Tad? The second one we did, we now understand before we bought tax deed properties, we bought some what? Y'all know what we bought? Type in the chat if you know what we bought. Y'all might not type it fast enough. Right, we paid for some education. Because in everything that we do, we're gonna find someone that knows how to do it, so it can shorten our learning curve. So we bought some education on how to take the list from the city, how to it's bump it, because what they give you from the city, they used to give you a CD,
They still
and
give
they
you the
would give you
CD.
a spreadsheet. In the CD would be a spreadsheet, and it would have parcel numbers, and you had to convert those parcel numbers to figure out what the addresses were. So we had a software that we paid for, and it would help us to convert the parcels into addresses so that we can go look at the addresses. We saw over about 500 houses before we picked the two that we invested in. So we rode by them. We looked at their prices. We looked at how many years they were
Behind.
but how many years they were
We only
behind.
looked at tax deeds. I can tell you that.
Yeah, we didn't even bother tax certificates at that time. And so out of that 500, we picked two. Now that's to show you a lot of times people think that real estate is this get rich quick. It's not. You got to do some work. Most people are not going to go see 500 properties. We use the software to basically create a route for us so that all the ones that were in the area, if it was five on one street, we could see all five. You literally did that. You could see all five on one street versus going to this street, going somewhere else, coming back to that street. It literally mapped out the route for us. What are some other things that we did before we
We created a what's the word we're looking for? A scaling system for
a
them,
grading system
a
we did?
grading system. So we basically had 1 to 5, and we would grade the area and the house separately. So if we went to well, we're basically made discrete, more so discrete type is. So
Because we knew from the zip code what areas it was.
yeah, so we would grade the street and the house. So if
Mhm.
we had a good street, where it was a bad house, we would grade it that way. So we did that for all the properties we want to see. We didn't look at any land.
Mhm.
If it was dilapidated, that was a 1. If it was still standing,
That at least gave you a three.
yes. If it had somebody living in it, it didn't. It did not make our final cut. We
Cause
didn't want to have to evict nobody or nothing like that.
yes.
We was only looking for vacant tax deed properties. And I will tell you this: if I lost everything, I ain't gonna say that.
A strategy that you would use
I ain't gonna say if I lost everything because I
if
got
you
some
had
bigger
to
strategies.
redo it and you were coming from very little money, you would.
If I had no money and no experience in rehabbing, maybe that's the best thing to say.
Okay.
If I had no money, no experience in rehabbing, what I would do if I was a new investor is I would only work the tax deed list. And I wouldn't work the tax deed list so that I can buy the properties. I would work the tax deed list to find the owners and get the owners to sell me the property. So, example, this is major game. If you ain't got no money and you got some time on your hands and you want some deals, I'm gonna show you how to get them. Little
All right,
nothing.
let's go.
All right. So this is what I would do. I would drive for dollars on tax deed properties, get my list, do my stuff, and
What's the stuff?
grading.
Okay. Do
Get my
your
list,
grading
do my
system.
grading,
Mm-hmm.
and I would contact the owners of the property. I wouldn't go to the state and try to buy the taxes. I would go to the owner of the property and say, "Hey, you're finna lose this property to the state,
Or individual.
or somebody's gonna buy it. Let me give you $500 and quit claim the property to me. I pay the back taxes. I give you $500, and I take this property off your hands. You ain't gotta worry about taxes no more." So once I get them to quit claim the property to me for 500, I'm gonna take that property and sell it on the open market because it's not a tax deed at that point. At that point, I have clear title because I got the property directly from the owner of the house.
Directly from the owner.
So whoever buys it gonna have to clear up the back taxes. But in that case, I can go around making $5, $10, $15,000 easy.
Wholesaling it.
Easy, just wholesaling deals, wholesale tax deeds. Not through the county though, but directly through the owner. That's all I would work on. That's it. If I need to go in and clean it up a little bit, I give me some trash bags, go clean it up a little bit.
Make it trashed out, right?
If I had a little bit more money, I would probably have like a yard crew that would go down and just knock it down. I ain't saying cut it and make it look pretty.
Not knock the house down.
Not the house, but the
landscaping,
the weeds,
because
it's gonna be grown up more than likely.
Yeah.
Just go in and knock it down so we can see the house.
Mm-hmm.
and I turn around and I sell them maybe like hotcakes.
Yep.
There's no limits to how many of them you can do. There's so many houses on the tax deed list. Like at that point, I would even go to the certificates. Now the certificates will be a little
To
harder.
negotiate, it'll be a little hard
You
to
might give them a
negotiate.
little more money, but if
Yes.
it's vacant, it's run down, you already see the condition is in. They ain't got no money to fix it.
No.
And Lord Paul, they don't
Hey,
got
Trish,
no
Trish.
they don't got no money to fix it. So you'll be a lifesaver because people are handing that right now. I got that house still at Inslee. If somebody came to me and said, "Hey, look, bro, let me give you $500 and I'll buy that house from you," I might say 1,000, but I give it to them. I ain't doing nothing with it. It's burnt down, but somebody can right now sell that land for probably $10,000.
Easy.
Easy. It probably ain't got no about $3,000, $4,000 in back taxes. I ain't paid them, but somebody can turn around, pay me a little bit, go sell the land, even knock the house down if they have to, and just sell the land. Houses in that area right now are going for 130, 140 rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new probably get 160.
Mm-hmm.
You might build the house for 85, $90,000. You just made some money. And I've been thinking about going back and get it for real. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a lot of other stuff going on, but I ain't never built no house. I don't want to get sidetracked with building a house because that'll take my focus off what I got going on.
But I think that's an important strategy that you can incorporate, especially for with little to no money.
Yes.
You get the tax list for like I think it's $50.
Now it's coming a
For
little better these days. Like they give you the addresses and the
oh they give it to you
owner's name
because
now,
it
so
was
you don't got to go through all that no more.
and all you got to do is sort it by addresses at that point.
Yep.
Just sort.
I would take zip codes and I would just knock zip codes out. Knock zip codes out. Boom, boom, boom. Make cold calls. Boom. Send out direct mail. Boom. I would just beat that list to sleep, and you gonna find some deals.
And because yes, some people are going to get them from absentee owners. Some people are going to hit those people from doing the absentee owner list. But most people aren't dealing with the tax deeds and the tax certificate area, especially with contacting the landlords directly and
Yes.
getting them to quick deed you the property and paying them little to nothing because they're about to lose
Yeah.
it
Most
anyway.
people are trying to get it from the state and buy it through the back taxes, then try to sell that. But I go directly to the owner.
Absolutely. Ooh.
Questions? Can I get my slushy though? So you can melt it a little bit. Yeah, baby.
Tonight's wind down session is sponsored by
I don't
Slow.
even know if you can call it wine now.
When you told me it didn't have to have alcohol, it means you're relaxing
Oh, you taking my
and
word
calming down.
now?
Sonic.
Yeah, nothing.
Now we didn't have time to go get some wine today because we have been between traveling and our students. We have been going full flesh. So
Full of flesh is not a
I mean
word.
full force.
You making up your own stuff now. All right.
Appreciate
What
you.
else is about tax deeds? We can get some game on.
So to recap, if you buy straight from the owner, it is no longer a tax sale, but you're going to pay back the back taxes anyway. Yes, at that point, it's not a tax deed. You actually have a deed, a warranty deed,
Mm-hmm.
a
What's a quick claim
quick
deed?
claim deed,
But
but
you
you can get insurance on it
title
because
insurance.
it's not a tax deed. And yes, I would say you want to definitely go back and you want to pay the taxes. That's a part of your
Yeah.
negotiation.
So whoever the new buyer is, they will pay the tax. So let's say
So let's talk about we bought one in what was that 2409. He was 2 3 years behind on his taxes.
I know I'm supposed to know this address,
You
but
don't
we
know
got
this,
too many houses. Babe, I'm sorry.
Lee.
To the point.
Yes.
All right, remind me.
All right. Remember Robert guy?
Mm-hmm.
He used to be a plumber.
Okay, I remember
Okay.
him.
So we bought a tax property from him, and well, from the owner. The owner was about to be 3 years delinquent in taxes. We purchased that house with a hard money lender, and at closing, we were able to pay the back taxes.
Yes, that gave us clear title at that point in
That gave
time.
us clear title, and we were able to
Robert wasn't
get.
the owner.
No, it was his friend. His friend may have his name may have been Robert as well. I don't remember.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely have done it.
So you can definitely do it, and you can get your financing on it as well, as long as you're getting it
Right.
directly from the owner, and you're paying those taxes at closing from their proceeds. As long that's
Yeah,
how you work it up, you paying it from their proceeds, and it's cleared up before you close.
yeah. So I will start with properties that are in year three or a certificate, and they're getting ready to become a deed, are properties that are in year one of a deed.
Hmm.
I will work those 2 years non-stop
Hmm.
until it changes.
Lord said, nice.
Yes.
So there's so many ways you can make money in real estate. You just want to have, we say this all the time, but you want to have different tools in your toolbox to be able, depending on the deal, know how to pull out that tool and use it. All right. All right. Now we're back. You want, all right. So our biggest failure, one of our biggest a very top failure in our list was when I became full time and we decided we were going to buy taxi properties. We bought another one, and that one we started fixing it. We started doing a whole bunch of things to it that we probably shouldn't have done.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna say that. You get the list from the tax assessor's office.
Office.
Uh, downtown.
Yeah. Downtown.
Yes, you go downtown to the tax assessor office, and they have a list or they have a CD. The CD used to be like $50. The list the paper version might be like $25, but it's still down there. I was in there. We was gonna get our license, and I peeked in there, and I seen they still got on the wall. CD is such and such. Um, the property in Inslee. What were you saying? We did
No, I said East Lake.
Eastlake.
We did some.
You did some put
We did some
no.
rehab to it.
We went and got some training, just as always, and the training taught us to only get properties that are vacant because they said that if the property is vacant,
There's a good chance.
no, I'm not going to hear there's a good chance.
What they said.
If the property is vacant and you have a tax deed, you have rights to go to that and take over that property
Okay, that's
if
not
it's
what I was
vacant.
saying, but okay.
Oh, so that's what we did. It was vacant. Yard trees was grown up.
I mean,
Uh,
grow up. Like
it was horrible.
it was also boarded.
Boarded up. So it was a vacant property. So by us having a tax deed from our previous training, we was told that we
We
had the rights to go into the house to preserve the house. The paint was chipping on the house.
I don't think we really knew what preserving
No,
was.
we didn't. No,
I
I ain't
think
gonna
we
lie.
made up our. We learned more and more later about what preserving was,
Got an
and
expensive education.
and we kept trying to manipulate it to basically kind of work on our favor.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, well that was preserving, but mm-mm, mm-mm. Donna put, baby, y'all the hardest working couple in Birmingham.
You so funny.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Donna.
Yeah. So, long story short, basically, we got the property. We went into the property. We fixed the property up. Um, we fixed it up. Put a tenant in it. You ever get a tenant in it?
We did. We had a couple of tenants
Got a
there.
couple of tenants in it.
Hmm.
What we got? So during the rental process, the guy who owned it wanted to redeem. So
Not the, was it the rental?
yeah,
I thought it was finished. I
no,
thought
no,
the
no, no,
renters
no.
was in it by then.
After it was finished, it was on the market when they
It's when
originally.
he found out about
Yes,
it because it was listed.
it was
Yeah.
listed on the market for rent, but they wanted to redeem. So there's a whole process you go through redeeming. I don't want to get too deep into that, but the owner, I get into it. The owner will send a letter saying, "Hey, I want to redeem the property,"
Either the owner or the owner's attorney.
and then you send back a letter saying, "Okay, this is the amount to redeem." And then if they agree to pay, you just pay it and you move on. But if you don't, you have to go to arbitration, and arbitration will
Decide how much it should be
decide what
worth
it should be. If you don't like that, you got to go to court. So we were all in court with this thing
all the way.
because we felt like the guy didn't want to pay for any of our improvements. We had probably $10,000 into the property between the purchase and the fix up. So at this point in time, we ain't do nothing wrong. So we fighting it like we right. So we going to court, got lawyers. This went on for like a year or so.
Hmm.
Long story short, we lost. And
We lost the house.
yeah, we lost the house.
We had to pay the interest for all that whole year that we spent in litigation. Like every day was interest adding on that. Typically, as an investor, you get
Yeah.
because you owned it. It was reverse.
It was, let me tell you, we lost. Let me tell you everything we lost. We lost the case off the rip. We lost the house. Well, technically, they paid us back for the house just what the taxes was, nothing extra.
Yes,
Um, we had to pay our lawyers. We had to pay their
their lawyers.
lawyers. We had to pay like $30,000 in emotional distress. We had to pay another 40 or $50,000 for adjusting the property. So like we lost big, but it was all because of one thing. He had stuff in the house.
Or he claimed he had stuff in the
It
house.
was junk.
It was. It
It
was.
was straight up
It
junk.
was. It didn't have power at no point. It didn't like the. It took. It was probably like 6 years before the power was on, water and all of that.
Yeah, so it was stuff in there, but it was mainly junk in there. Old couch, old everything. So we basically cleaned the property out and got it ready. And we said that. But the way that the courts work is the judge ruled that we were trespassing because even though we had
Right.
rights to the property from the county,
Well, from the
from the
court.
courthouse, a tax deed, we had rights. The fact that we didn't do an ejectment
Even and there's nobody there.
on nobody, the fact that we didn't go through the courts and do an ejectment, he treated us like squatters.
Hmm.
And he said that because you guys are squatting, you're basically trespassing. And because you're trespassing, you don't get rights to nothing. Actually, you pay because this guy cried on the stand talking about he had a
He
sweater
had
in there from
his
his grandma.
grandmother gave him. It was
Man.
amazing.
Yeah, so that is top two or three and worst things that we've lost. Man, major setback. They put liens on properties.
They tried to take some properties that we had, like because they thought the values were higher. we had to like immediately sell things, and they wouldn't sign off on our sales unless we paid them large lump sums. So like
Yes.
one house we were getting ready to make 50,000 off of the sale, and they said we want 40,000 of that sale. Talking about mad, we was trying to
Yeah.
figure out like what way can we go around this? Can
Hmm.
we even tried to negotiate with them, like let's do 25,000, like let's
Yeah.
do 20,000. They were like, no, if you want us to sign off on it, you got to pay us.
Yeah. So we end up paying about 70,000 to their lawyers because in the end, the lawyers got the house
I
from
was
the
just,
owner. Some type of way, I don't
I
really
don't
know
know
what it
how that
was,
happened.
but we got straight played,
We got straight pimped.
straight pimp. So we in hard-earned cash between two properties, we end up basically giving them. We sold one house in Adamsville. I think we gave them like 40,000. We still had another 35,000. Then we sold another house. Damn, we bought the wrong house. We sold another house in Roebuck and ended up giving them another 30, 35. Like they had done really screwed us out of some money. And our lawyers, we didn't even pay them.
But they didn't, yeah, like they knew what
They
time it
gotta come
was.
get theirs in blood. Shit.
Well, no, I think they wrote that off because
It was their fault we lost though.
no one knew the laws. Like
Yeah.
you can't.
All right, I'm sorry.
No one knew the laws, and the laws had been like so adjusted
Yes.
that it was ridiculous.
There was no like tax deed laws are so great and they fall under so many different categories that like we was in the courtroom literally reading
They went and opened the book,
books.
like
The judge didn't know nothing about tax
no,
deeds.
and like that's the issue you face if you get into something like that, because every judge isn't well versed when it comes to that law, and the law
Man.
hasn't been updated since I think they said the 30s.
Oh,
So much had changed in Birmingham, so much had changed, period, in the world, and the tax laws didn't reflect it.
yes. So we in court and their lawyers reading stuff, our lawyers reading stuff, and it's like, are we really in a courtroom reading textbooks and law books?
During the middle of trial,
Because
like
he don't know answers. He don't know. He's like, y'all tell me.
what it says. Because I ain't
What
got
does
time
it
to read
say? I
this.
don't know what this means.
So it became which lawyer knew the most or could
Could
persuade.
persuade the judge.
Mm-hmm. And it worked. Not
And
on our behalf.
Yep.
It worked.
So needless to say, we recently that happened in 2018.
Ooh, that was like 17, 18, I
18,
think. A long
17.
time. It took a long time. So it was about a year and a half just
The
going
whole
through the
process.
court and the arbitration. Yeah.
Yeah. So that took it wasn't until this year we actually bought another tax deed property. And we didn't buy a tax deed. We bought it. How I told you I would buy it. We bought the
It
tax
directly
deed
from the
from the
owner.
owner.
Mm-hmm.
He had a tax deed that he could acquire. We bought that. So we didn't buy it and hold it. So right now we're acquiring the title on the tax deed so that we can sell it on the open market.
Yeah.
And we ain't did no rehab to that baby.
Ain't even gonna touch it. All we did was make sure. So look, it had a few dogs that was there. We made sure the dogs were gone from the property. One of our wholesalers who gave it to us, he took made sure the dogs were gone. The owner picked up the dogs. We changed locks.
Yeah. So
And all we're doing is working with the attorneys.
live and learn. Oh,
We had such major plans when it came to buying tax deed properties.
yes,
We
we
were like
did.
gonna buy up a zip code is
We
what we
did.
thought we were
We
gonna
did.
do. And I'm so grateful that we didn't, um because of that. Like it became an expensive education, but I feel from that education I'm well versed.
Definitely.
I can then go say certain things, no this works, no this doesn't work, so that doing it again it makes it easier.
Eric, if you still on here, you say y'all remodeled the wrong house. How did y'all do that, Eric? If you are, you gotta tell me how y'all remodeled the wrong house.
That is scary. That is scary. But all that to say, there's so many ways to make money on real estate. As long as you know what you're doing, you know your information, and everything comes with a risk. All right, so don't think that you're not gonna have some setbacks. Don't think that things are gonna be peachy and creamy. It's not. But the good thing is that you adjust in any and everything you do. You adjust and you make it better. Everything can be fixed. Some things will just require a little more than others.
Facts.
All right, what questions do y'all have? I know we probably scared the living crap out of you, but at least we experienced it, and you don't have to experience it.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, evict them because there's two type of possessions. There is adverse possession and I don't forgot the other word. But you need both of them in order to say you have control of a house. Let me see my phone. I work one.
Adverse is all I can remember.
I mean, that we was adverse, so
The crazy thing is, we hired other attorneys that were really good at breaking down the tax laws, and they were like, "We've never had to deal with this before. This is such a great area." We hired them to talk to our attorneys and teach our attorneys.
yeah.
Like we were going overboard just to win, and it was hard. But they were not renegotiating the plan. I think we paid them 10,000. You missed that part. We paid them $10,000 cash. We had to pay them $10,000 cash. I think this was like a day, 2 days after I came from the hospital from. Yeah, this was 2018. I think
What happened now?
this was like 2 days after I came from the hospital after we had Ashlyn. We had to pay them $10,000 to
It's not
basically
foreclosed.
to not foreclose on any of our properties and to create basically the note that we're going to pay them back.
Yeah.
And we paid them monthly. We
I
paid the
forgot about
attorneys
that part
monthly
to pay off the
to
note.
pay off that debt. And they thought that like they were looking forward to that residual income monthly coming in, and we cut that thing short in probably like less than a year. It was probably like 6 months.
Yeah, it was like 6 months. We paid that thing on off, so we
It's
want
not
to
the
have
end
that.
of the world.
Yeah, when you move on, man, you fail. We fail. Just it is what it is, man. We ain't perfect, but
I think well, like I say all the time, you have to fail in order to get a win, or you need to train somebody so that you can cut your learning curve. Joey said, "What is the deal with tax deed properties for sale from individuals?"
um, what that is, Joy, is basically they are submitting to the state a request to buy the property.
Making an offer with the state.
And let's say the back taxes are $3,000. So they saying there's a website where you can submit to the state to say I want to buy the back taxes,
For property 123 Main Street.
and the state will send you back. It's a line for if it's a property, it's a good property more like it's a line. So the state will send you back a paper saying that hey, you got 20 days to pay this amount, and you can be the owner of the tax deed. What some investors do is they take that paper and they shop it. So let's say that if the state say, hey, $3,000 you can have this tax deed, they'll turn around and shop it for 15, 20,000 and say, pay me 20,000, you can have a tax deed. And people don't know that you don't get that difference if that person redeems. So if the taxes are only $3,000, but you paid 15 for the property, and they come back and redeem, they're only going to pay you the $3,000
of what the tax properties
of what it's worth. They're not going to pay you that overage. So I don't buy tax deeds from people. Uh,
Because you can go directly to the owner
you can
or
go
you can go
direct to the
directly to the
state
state.
and get it because they ain't gonna buy it. They just trying to wholesale it. So they sent me a tax deed
But
property
again,
like
that's
that.
a different way you can make money in real estate.
Another way. I know one guy made a killing doing it. He made a killing selling
Tax deed.
tax deeds, not even buying them, just the paperwork.
Hmm.
So there's different ways to make money, baby.
So many ways to make money in real estate.
Like that.
Because like it's real. All right. If you guys are interested in being a sponsor of one of our wind down sessions, why would you do that? Like, why was that so important just now? You can DM us and we would show you how you can be a sponsor where we'll basically promote your business and test out the wine. I see a comment. Joey said, thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. If you haven't marked your calendars already, make sure you mark your calendars for this Tuesday. Nicole Ambrose will be in the place. She'll be at REI Live Birmingham, so make sure you check her out. Ask her questions. Nicole is very much a top producer in the real estate world, and she's just someone you want to learn from, you want to get to know, and be able to do more deals, honestly. So, to all my realtors, make sure your face is in the place. I promise you, you're going to thank me later. I promise you. All right. Anything else? Did you find out what it's called?
Mm-mm.
Tamio about to take the whole setup down, y'all. The whole setup. You want to tell people thank you? Good night. You still looking for a word?
I am because it's bothering me.
You can put it in the chat.
All right, I'll put it in that later.
All
I
right, you
need to know
guys.
that though. It's important.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful week. And we will see you guys tomorrow, the same place, same time.
Maybe, maybe not.
Tomorrow, what are we talking about tomorrow? I know Tuesdays is credit. What is
Probably
tomorrow?
rehab. Money
Tomorrow
usually.
Mondays are rehab. That's right. So we'll talk about rehab. So get your questions in. And is that it?
That's it, little mama.
Have a great night, you guys. Love you.
Peace.